What's up, everybody? We are back today. I just got my video uploaded, got back from the gym, so we're gonna hop in with the E46. So we've got a little bit to do today. I keep forgetting to put the rear sway bar back in, so we're gonna start with that before we forget. But then we have to grind down these knuckles right here so that we can fit the CNC brackets on, just like I showed in the last video. We've got to bleed the coolant, and then that should be it. We're also gonna do an oil change. I bought some oil, so that should be just about it. We should be able to wrap up this car today. I plan on not stopping until I can drive it. So I really want to get this thing out on the road. It's not insured, it's not registered, so I can't actually drive it on the road, but I got a pretty long driveway, so that'll have us covered. So hopefully by the end of this video, this thing's driving. I know I said that last week, but we came a little bit more prepared today. We are ready to rock. We're not gonna have to worry about breaking these guys anymore because we'll be able to get the CNC ones on and we'll be good to go. So we should be able to start and get this finished pretty quick. Okay, sway bar is back in. I forgot to mention we bought some Flex Seal, and we are going to Flex Seal the back of this bad boy because there's a couple holes that were drilled by the previous owner, and I really don't want the cabin filling up with smoke that easily. It's obviously gonna fill up with smoke a little bit, but not as much as you would think because wheel speed equals smoke, and low horsepower cars don't have a lot of wheel speed. So I wanna keep as much smoke out as I can, especially with keeping it full interior. So you got a couple holes down here that we're gonna fill up, and I'm actually gonna do this whole lining with Flex Seal and make it look pretty good, a little bit more durable, so I can just throw tires, tools, whatever I need to in and out. So I'm not gonna record this part, but I will clip to when it is done. And just like that, it actually looks really good. We're pretty surprised. So once I remove that tape, I think it's gonna look pretty professional. So it smells like paint in my house, and I'm getting a little lightheaded, but that's not a big deal. I think this will look really good. Covered up those holes pretty well. You can kind of see them in there, but no, that'll absolutely do the job. So now I get to let that dry. We're gonna hop to the front, get the control arm, what do you call it?
Knuckles.
Yeah.
Shave them down.
Oh yeah, we're gonna shave down the knuckles and then put the brackets in and then bleed the coolant, and we're finished. So it's actually going pretty well so far. The sway bar was not fun to put in. That was on me. I took it out last and put it in last. So definitely should have done it a little bit sooner, but hopefully I can get this out today and wash it because this thing has not been washed in like 3 months, but I mean, it hasn't been outside. So Jackson has gotten this nice and cut down, so we should be able to fit these boys on there now. While he was doing that, I started the oil change, and you quickly learn that a normal drain pan does not hold 8 quarts of oil. For some reason, this thing holds 8 quarts of oil. So made a little bit of a spill, but we've got it all cleaned up. So I'm gonna get the drain plug tightened up, pour some oil down there. Got the CNC drift bracket on so you guys can see how it kind of clamps on. Got these two to the knuckle, and then this will slide up into that hole. It's a little bit of a pain to do with one hand. And then this guy will go into here. We have to cut the tie rod here, about 15 mil, just to make it easier for alignments. So we're gonna have to get these guys off, but we're gonna wait until we have the control arm on. All right, this guy's in. You can see kind of where Jackson cut right along where that bolt sits, just right here. So everything is in there. They are now drift bracketed officially. So I'm going to put the end of the tie rod into this hole so that I can break this nut loose here and get this tie rod off. Okay, got this nut loose. You got this little, I wish this would, there we go. You've got this little lock collar on here. Once you get that done, I wish it would just come right off, but we've got to get a 22 to put on here, and then you get a spanner wrench to put here, and you have to break it with a 22, and it's kind of a pain. So I'm gonna get down there and do that, and then we should be able to get this off. A little bit of an update. So it's just one thing after another when it comes to this front end. The outer tie rods would not come out. So we just took the whole inner and outer assembly out, and now we're gonna see if we can figure out how to get this thing out, because this thing is super boogered up, so it's hard right here to be able to get your wrench on it and actually just get it off. So hopefully this works. That thing's not coming off. We've got it absolutely torqued down on the vise, and we have the vise grips on there pretty hard, and we were smacking it with the hammer, and it's not coming off. So we're gonna take a trip to O'Reilly. Hopefully I can get this part tonight. I'm really fingers crossed that I can. Don't really want to spend another $100, but I want this thing to move. At this point, I will drain my whole bank account just to get this thing on the road. So hopefully it's there, it's ready to go. We're gonna take a trip over there, and when we get back, hopefully we will have these new parts and just be able to swap them right in and out. So we didn't end up running to the parts store because we looked online and we saw the O'Reilly to get inner and outer tie rod ends is about $100 a side, when on Rock Auto, the best place in the world, you could get them front, both sides for 32 bucks a piece. So I'm gonna order those online, save a little bit of money, and it's still OEM parts because it's Delphi, and Delphi is part of OEM BMW, I believe. I know Lamforder, however you pronounce it, over in Germany does that as well, but Delphi does make good parts. I've done a little bit of research on that. So gonna order those. Right now we are doing the coolant, checking the coolant, or bleeding the coolant I should say. Made a little bit of a mess there, but she's going, she's getting there. She actually runs. I think I made the e-brake a little too tight because it won't go into first. Well, it will, but it doesn't like to spin, so we're gonna have to check that out. Exhaust spit out a little bit of crap, but she's there. She's there. We just have to get those inner and outer tie rods ordered, which should be here in the next couple days if I order them tonight. So I'm hoping that I can get them here. We can slap this on and be done. We're this close, but it's just every little thing with this car. So hopefully the next time you guys see me, I will be putting those on. I plan on doing the same video. So peace. We are back. It's Thursday night, getting a little bit of a late start once again here to this thing, but Jackson just got home and he brought me the tie rod ends and inner tie rods. So they're nice and cut now. Do the thing. Yeah, they damn near look machined. These things look really good. So we're gonna go ahead and slap these in. We're gonna try to measure these ones while they're connected since they haven't really moved. And then we're gonna measure these new ones so that we can somewhat keep the alignment right, but I'm gonna get it aligned anyway, so that doesn't really matter. But the plan is to be able to move this thing out of the garage tonight so that I can get it aligned this weekend and drive it, which would be really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. It should be pretty plain and clear and simple. I might have to run to O'Reilly and get some of these hose clamps because I forgot to do that, because I may or may not have taken like a 3-hour nap, but we're not gonna talk about that. So we're gonna get this knocked out. I'll record as much as I can, but it's a pretty easy process. Okay, we are going to run to the parts store. We need these little metal clamps here because we're gonna reuse these boots. Don't really wanna reuse them, but I forgot to order new ones and I really don't care enough to sit here and wait another 3 days to be able to get some boots because these work just fine. So got the left side off, there's the driver's side. We are replacing these because right here where the female outer tie rod connects to the male inner tie rod, it's not coming out. We had that one in the vise, we were cranking on it pretty hard, and then we gave up on these ones and just ordered new ones. So 2 new ones are sitting up there. We're gonna go get some hose clamps for the boots, and then it should be easy peasy squeezy, go right back in. All right, we actually cut both of the inners off of the outer tie rods so that we could get the boot off. Jackson's actually in there scrubbing the boots up real quick. So now they are nice and clean and ready to go. So we're gonna throw the boots on here. We measured this on the old ones for the alignment. So we're gonna take 15 millimeters off of that because that's kind of the way you have to set them. So we're gonna take 15 millimeters off the old measurements, we're gonna throw the boot back on first so that it can be nice and square in the front, and I won't have to get a crazy alignment. It'll still drive. So we should be able to pop those boots back on and then get it back in the car. Okay, we've got the boot on the new inner tie rod. Come on, focus up. There we go. So we've got the 2 new hose clamps on there. We reused the same boots because they're in good enough shape. So we're gonna put these on first, and then we are going to put the outers on. So I have the front left, I believe. Can't really read it anymore, but I think he's got the front right. So we're gonna slap these guys in, then we should be able to put the tie rods, outer tie rods on, and get her down on the ground. All right, the new inner tie rods are in on both sides. You can see there, we got the new clamps on. Same boot, but the nice clean tie rod. So we've got the inners on. Now it's time to hop down there, put the outers on, and these are the outers that are going on next. There's these nice little, I guess, chamfered bits that you have here where there's a lock collar that goes over that, and then the nut pushes up against that so that you have some rigidity there. So these are pretty nice. Not mad about them. We're gonna throw them in. These guys go on right here. They're just gonna screw on that easy peasy. And then we will be able to start the alignment process, attach it to this bolt here, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so we got the tie rods in. The CNC machining brackets are in as well. We're gonna go ahead and tighten these down. We've got a little bit of toe. Yeah, it's actually pretty bad. A little bit of toe on this side, so we might have to take it out and readjust it, but we're gonna go ahead and get everything started to do the alignment. Get these wheels thrown back on, and then we can get her outside and into the sunlight. We have these all tightened up now. We don't have everything on the inside of connecting the inner and the outer tie rods tightened up because we still want to do the alignment portion of it, but we are going to throw the wheels back on it, and then we are going to be able to kind of get a better judgment for where we need to fix toe in the back, toe in the front, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and slap that on. The next time you see it, it should be on the ground and ready to move. So this is what it's supposed to look like. Not a whole lot of toe, a little bit of camber, looks good. My measurement was a little off on this side, apparently. That's way too much toe, so we're going to get underneath it, fix the toe angle. We're at 2 1/4 on that side, length on the threads. And so I'm at 2 1/2 over here, so I think that 1/4 inch is really going to do it. That's what we measured on the factory ones, so I figured it would work, but it did not. So we're going to go to 2 1/4 here. Then we're going to adjust the back and plop her on the ground. All right, she's on the ground. I think we've got a little bit too much toe going on here, to be honest, but that's okay. It definitely pushed those wheels out and gave them a little bit of camber, which looks really cool. So oil checked. You guys didn't see me a lot in that like time-lapse-ish thing because I forgot that this was not on and I was throwing it on. So everything in the rear setup, we are all good to go. We are gonna go on our first test drive. All right, she's outside, she moves. I drove her down there and then realized that I forgot to tighten the lug nuts, so Jackson ran inside. So we're gonna go ahead and go on our first test drive and see how she goes. All right, we're back from the test drive. I have a pretty long driveway, so we just went down there, checked everything out. We did not go onto public roads. But this thing rips. I'm actually very impressed. I had not been able to actually like get into it and give it a little bit of the onion and the beans. But she rips pretty good. I'm very excited. After doing all the work we did the rear suspension rebuild, or not suspension, but the rear subframe rebuild, front suspension rebuild, oil change, valve cover gasket. We did quite a bit to this thing and it really paid off. It drives really well. It's very comfortable. A little couple things we're gonna have to tweak, like the dust shields are scratching, but that's stuff I don't really care about. So we're gonna kind of monitor it over the next couple days and make sure that everything still looks good, runs good, and checks out. So hopefully I'll have this thing at an event here soon. I definitely need to get some tires because 255s do not break that easily, especially when you have a 170 horsepower car. But that being said, she still ripped pretty good. So a lot of fun, very excited about this. Finally runs, finally drives. I'm gonna end this video with a little bit of like a montage of me driving it and washing it and things like that. So I'm very excited for this. Thank you guys for everything. We've come a long way on this vehicle, but we still have a long way to go. So like, subscribe if you want to keep watching the content, and then leave a comment with what you think I should do next, if I should wrap it, if I should do deliveries, things like that. So I appreciate all you guys. Thank you. See ya.